Greetings and salutations, Fantasy League of Ordinary Gentlemen. It is I, Commissioner Joe Johnson, coming to you for Week 3. That's right, guys. It's Week 3 only. 15 weeks to the fantasy season, and it's all done. It's just flying by. I can't believe I'm already on what is like my 5th episode. We're already covering Week 3. It's flying by. And if you're like me, 0 and 2 is not where you want to be. Gotta figure some things out. It's not, we're not worried. We're not in danger zone yet, but, gotta find a win. Gotta find a win in Week 3. There are 3 other managers who are sitting there with me. Of course, we have 4 owners who are 2-0, sitting on the other end of the spectrum. Maybe you feel good. Maybe it's like a solid 2-0. If you're Jonathan Andrews, it sure feels that way. Maybe you escaped with a win and really should be 1-1. And then, of course, we've got everybody in the middle, 1-1, 6 people. And think about that. Did you walk away with a lucky win? Should you be 0-2? Did you take a unfortunate loss? Brauc, I think, is one of those people. And maybe you should be, 2-0, 1-1, something like that. So it's early. We got, at the end of the day, we do have a lot of football left to go. I will say Week 3, we're coming off all those injuries. We talked a little about them the other day. We're definitely going to cover how that affects our teams going forward. But before we go into it, you already know, like and subscribe. Get us out there. We enjoy having you. Maybe you're not a part of the league itself. You don't technically get to participate, but you enjoy watching. But what we all know is that we love listening to the sultry sounds of Joe. So turn the volume up. Put me up on the big screen. Shut all of the distractions out, because we're going to break down what's coming at you in Week 3. Let's start with Game 1. And we already know, no surprise, Forrest Dozier taking on defending champion Austin Allen. Austin, it's been a solid 2 weeks for you, sir. And this one looks to be in your favor. A 15-point projection. And, Forrest was lucky if he scored 75 points. Didn't even score 75 points last week. And dealing with injuries, no Debo. The key, we thought Travis Kelce was the cornerstone of this team. It clearly is not. It's Debo and no Debo. Tajay Spears still banged up, questionable if he's even going to play. So you've got maybe another hole to fill. And I don't know if you have the team to do it. And I hate to say, Forrest, it's another week full of tough defensive play. Your projection is still 100. Geno Smith in this game against Miami. I think Miami's defense is much better than what we've seen. Their offense wasn't on the field long enough, so that defense just wasn't getting a rest. So we'll see. But the Seahawks are playing fantastic football right now. So this could go in your favor in the sense if they can really, keep pushing Miami's defense off that tough loss against Buffalo. Aaron Jones and Tajay Spears, we already talked about running backs 1 and 2. Will Tajay Spears, you're going to have to monitor that, and I think this 10-point projection is just because of the shared field. It's Tony Pollard. And we don't even know if Tajay Spears is going to play, but it's clearly the Tony Pollard show. And Aaron Jones has to play Houston, tapering expectations big time. Tank Dell needs to start to show you that he is the wide receiver that you spent. And I don't even think it's a bad pick. I actually think it's one of your better picks. It's just he hasn't been what anybody through 2 weeks expected it to be. And let's face it, Minnesota's playing. They have a good defense, and they've been playing really good through the first 2 weeks of football. So I'm tapering expectation here. Gabe Davis, already a rough start. Gets Buffalo's defense. They're playing lights out. Travis Kelce gets Atlanta. You just saw what Atlanta's defense did with Philadelphia now, Devonta Smith got plenty of work, but Dallas Goedert, it was much more of a struggle, and Travis Kelce hasn't looked good. You really have to have Travis Kelce. I mean, now more than ever, and as long as you're without Debo, Travis Kelce has to be a 20-point player to give you a semblance of hope. Xavier Worthy, you've got to find somebody else to flex play here for us. You've got to find something, and I just don't, you can't keep starting him with the hopes that he's going to outpace Rashee Rice. Kansas City defense, I don't know, we'll see, but they're a good defense. It's just Atlanta, I think, is kind of starting to figure themselves out, and if they really want to, it's at home. Man, Bijan could be big here, and I just don't know how I feel about this defense. And I think there are some other starters you'd feel much better about, so maybe you want to stream a defense this week. Jake Elliott, the kicker, again, your projection 100, but you're going up against the defending champion, Austin Allen, and he is having a great start to the year. CJ Stroud, subpar week, last week, and runs into Minnesota, so maybe more of the same. Saquon Barkley and Jareem Gibbs, running backs 1 and 2, and I love both these starts. Even though you run into New Orleans with Saquon Barkley behind that line, I'm still expecting the 15, 18 points. If he gets to the end zone, it can be even better. You really need the stack with Stephon Diggs to work out, and even then, you're still finding wins. I don't like JSN as the wide receiver 2 here. I'm just still not as optimistic. Maybe I just need to see more of what we saw last week, because I still think DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett are the go-to here. We know Geno's got the rapport, and nothing to slight JSN. It's just a lot to feed in that offense, and with Kenneth Walker, who should be back, I think that's something that kind of underlined the productivity of JSN, is Kenneth Walker wasn't playing, and Zach Charbonnet, good replacement. He's definitely a starter if Kenneth Walker is not playing, but signs are that he is going to play. I just don't think JSN, I think this 13 points is a little generous for him, and I think he could have 20-point days, but I think those might be once in the blue moon. We're certainly going to find out, and I will say, if I see more of the same, if I see Tyler Lockett the odd man out here, then hey, you do have a solid wide receiver 2 start. Maybe that's the thought process here. I just kind of thought about that. You're playing Forest, so we can experiment a little bit. I see what you're doing. Mr. Allen. I see what you're going for. George Kittle with no CMC, no Debo, all day, every day. Give me some. Brian Thomas Jr., great flex play against Buffalo. Love it. Even though Buffalo's tough, love it. New Orleans, the defense, not so much, especially playing Philly. They're going to be playing mighty angry. And Cairo Santos, the kicker, it's 115 to 100. And Austin, you hit 6 on the power rankings this week. Forrest, believe it or not, you're actually not the worst, but you're almost the worst. And so until, I've already said it, show me that I don't need to start the week off with you. Show me that you can get a win. You need a win, Forrest. Is it going to be this week? This has been one of your closer projections, but I don't think so. So give me Austin Allen, the defending champ, to get another win here in week 3. Game 2 features sophomore Aaron Felch taking on longtime veteran Josh Johnson, and lots of injuries in this game that are affecting the outcome. Mr. Felch, you lose. Well, you don't lose, but he is banged up. Jaden Reed, and not that I think you'd play him. I think you're making the right decision by not playing him. We already knew Hawkinson. You're waiting for him to come back. But Joe Mixon, the big question here, is he going to play? And it's very 50-50 right now, but the more, what I'm reading, it's really smelling like I don't think he is going to play. So Joe Mixon and it's Minnesota. Maybe they're going to hold him out because it's a tough defense and the injury. We'll see. Now, still getting projected points. So, of course, if he's going to be good to go, you're absolutely starting him. And I think he's doing a fantastic. I was high on Joe Mixon. I know people were out on him. It's like, man, he is a workhorse back, and he's going to a great offense, and we've seen that through. It was a little subpar, but again, he got hurt, so I think that he was on to something really good here. So, again, affecting the projection here still at 115, and the projection from ESPN to win, Jalen Hurts, 20 points, Kyron Williams, 18, like we just talked about, Joe Mixon, 15 there. I have no confidence whatsoever in Michael Pittman, not necessarily because of Michael Pittman, because of Anthony Richardson, and 13 points I think is generous. I think that you'd be happy if you got 10. And this could be, again, I'm questioning if I'm even starting Pittman after this week if he doesn't do something. Calvin Ridley really has got to have a game like he did last week, especially giving your team makeup. He has got to be productive. Juwan Johnson been getting the work over Taysom Hill. I guess it was all hype preseason, especially then also with the chest injury, even though it looks like Taysom Hill should play, they're saying, and it appears he's been practicing. Even before that, he has not been getting this involvement, this vulturing work that we thought he would get. Maybe that has a lot to do with Derek Carr and Alvin Kamara, being something. And that's the thing. I mean, like, is New Orleans legit? And it's like we were wondering about with Tampa Bay. Maybe that's the case with New Orleans. Tony Pollard, you just heard me talk about that. The situation with Tajay Spears, and I think this 15 Green Bay has a good defense, and Tennessee looks something awful. So taper expectation there. Minnesota, the defense. I think I'm finding a new defense, Mr. Felch, and Gay, the kicker. It's 115, so maybe you still feel confident with that number and moving forward. I definitely would be thinking about changing defenses if Joe Mixon doesn't play. That's for sure. We're going to switch here to, good Lord, I could talk. Josh, and Josh, sitting at the bottom with your old cousin here, 0-2, needing a win. And like I said, I think you made the right decision in that trade with Mr. Grog. Absolutely keeps you in the hunt for the playoffs, and maybe I think you just kind of have a couple tough defenses here, and Jared Goff being somebody who needs to show that he was that possible MVP candidate here. Your projection is over 100. That's good. J.K. Dobbins needs another big day, but Pittsburgh's defense, they're for real this year, and you saw how well they played against Atlanta and Bijan. So you just keep that in mind. Jordan Mason has been fantastic, and he gets the Rams and could make up here for any lack of work Dobbins gets. Amari Cooper and Demarcus Robinson, I like here, but hey, I told you oh man, maybe because it's New York and they're just that bad. But and maybe you just don't have another choice. But Amari Cooper, I just, again, until Jameis Winston takes over that team, and I think maybe Deshaun Watson's got one more week. Surely you can't just keep throwing him out there and hoping for a win. it's the definition of insanity. But is Cleveland not the definition of insanity? So I have no hope in that. Again, Robinson, Tyler Johnson, Tutu Atwell. Oh, I can't remember the other guy's name. But Whittle something. I know. I think Austin picked him up, or maybe it was Jonathan picked him up. But who knows? And none of them are Puka. None of them are Cooper Kupp. This offense is banged up and more than just their key positions. So the Rams are going to be a tough offense unless it's Kyron Williams I don't know if I really want to have to start anybody. But in a deep league like the Fantasy League of Ordinary Gentlemen, you're going to start people you don't want to start, like Cade Otton. There's one we don't like to start. Josh, you find a better tight end. Go find a better tight end, sir. All right, you can do better. And Denver, you don't want to have to deal with that, And then one more thing: Rams playing San Francisco, so it could be a real bad day for the Rams. David Montgomery, Arizona. Love it. This 12 points surely will score higher than that. Buffalo, the defense, and Bear and the kicker. You need another 20-point game from him, I think, this week. It is not particularly good for either one of these teams. Man, does the CMC and Puka injury, it hurts you. But, it is really weird way. I actually like the flex play with Montgomery more. I definitely like the defense and the kicker play more. I really say it. Do I like Amari Cooper more than Michael Pittman? And God help me, I think I do. I mean, it's at least Amari Cooper. They played New York Giants, and they're dog poop bad, and surely Amari Cooper can get into the end zone. No Joe Mixon. Aaron, you definitely, I think, are losing this game. Kyron Williams, like I said, you still have to play San Francisco. I think I'm going to do it. I think I am. Come on. The fantasy gods will find the Johnsons in week 3. Give me Joshua Johnson to get the win. Just barely. This game's going to be close, but just barely. Josh gets the win here in week number 3. Game 3 of week 3 gives us that which shall not be named, that which is forever unclean. Evan Coles taking on Mr. McGiblets, Jordan Payne, and the injuries are going to keep coming, and they're going to get worse. And this game is one of them. And Evan, it actually might save you this week, because I think without the injuries I get you're both dealing with, you may not win this game. Jordan, you're hitting the waiver wire hard. Knew it would happen. I expected nothing. You beat me to Darnell Mooney. I fell asleep. I fell the fuck to sleep, Jordan. Literally killing me. I woke up at 3 o'clock. And it didn't process. I woke up at, I waited till 3:10, didn't process. And I made it to 3:12. This is the last thing I can remember in my mind. And I fell asleep. And then I was I kind of woke up and I snapped out of it. It was 3:46. And I was like, son of a, I know the waivers process. And sure enough, waivers and process. And who's there but Jordan freaking Payne? Oh, there are days I wish I didn't invite you into this league, Jordan. I love you. You're a fantastic player, which makes it all the more difficult. But Evan, take heart, my friend. Let's just cover. You got injuries. Josh Jacobs banged up, looking like he's going to play. Justin Jefferson banged up, but he has a projection. Keep an eye on that one. And it looks like Njoku's not going to play. At least he's not going to be a part of your lineup this week. So, minus, as long as Josh Jacobs, really as long as Justin Jefferson, I don't know if you could survive without the Josh Jacobs, but I think as long as both those guys play, I think you've got this in the bag, not to tilt my hand too early. However, it is what it is. Patrick Mahomes gets Atlanta. Dude, talk about wonky offenses. We'll see. Josh Jacobs, Tennessee. I like it. Najee Harris, splitting time. The offense in Pittsburgh still figuring itself out. Justin Jefferson, Brandon Ayuk, wide receivers 1 and 2. Now, we do have Houston for Justin Jefferson, and he's banged up, tapering expectation. Brandon Ayuk's got the number 1 job. I mean, it was all George Kittle. I don't know. Maybe it was just the tough matchup. But San Francisco, I mean, again, week 2, everybody's still coming out of the gate, still getting used to getting hit. You're still trying to get into football shape, and you're hurting. Everybody knows week 2 is worse than week 1. If you actually played the game, doesn't matter on what level. Week 2 is always worse than week 1. getting those bruises. Yeah, getting used to the blood. Yeah. Isaiah Likely gets Dallas. Hey, we saw what happened last week with New Orleans. So what Dallas shows up here, and this is going to be a good game. The fact that Baltimore could be facing 0-3, oh man, great game. Gonna really enjoy watching that one. Jameson Williams is for real and was banged up. Doesn't look like he carries an injury designation into week 3. And with Arizona, yeah, I think this could be a great shootout game. Dallas, the defense, and Tucker, the defense, or the kicker, I think I would be questioning that defense, or might want to slot them for another time and check the waivers. But you do have a 117 on the projection. You like that number. That's a good number to be at. 103 for you, Jordan, not so much, and it's all the injuries. A.J. Brown, Cooper Kupp, Pacheco, key players, key part of your team. I mean, we saw 32 points from Cooper Kupp in week 1, and we saw the 20 points that was A.J. that could have been A.J. Brown last week. So huge parts of your offense just utterly obliterated, and nonetheless, Evan, I expect a fight here. Jordan definitely knows what players he's picking up and is going to slot here. We'll start with things that you need to have happen, Jordan, and that's that Josh Allen have a much better week than last week. Rivalry game, so this could be a good day. You certainly hope that he's running in those touchdowns and not James Cook. Devin Singletary and Chuba Hubbard-Wolf, running backs 1 and 2. What Cleveland defense shows up? You need Singletary to fall in the end zone. I'm tapering expectations. And Chuba, dude, same with Las Vegas. I love that the Red Rifle is coming into Carolina. Huge Andy Dalton fan. The dude would have had a championship had he not gotten hurt, when he was there, his last season there in Cincinnati. The dude can manage a team just fine. This gives me hopes. I have renewed hope when we cover them for, this means life. This is life if you are a Carolina wide receiver. So, yeah, love that. So, Chuba Hubbard, not though. But here's the thing. It's still, he's coming in as a starter, and I don't expect just immediate success. I don't expect phenomenal success. I expect a manageable, fantasy-friendly passing offense. That has nothing to do with Chuba Hubbard. And so, yeah, Wolf here, and Las Vegas' defense is for real this year. I hate to say that. There is a team that I hate. As a Broncos fan, fuck the black hole, the soulless, and I could talk about soulless as a ginger. Fuck the Raiders. I absolutely hate them, and they have a great defense, man. I'm here to tell you. James Reynolds, wide receiver for Denver. I don't even think that's right. But I mean, what are we? Is that where we're at, Jordan? We're starting Denver wide receivers here. Holy moly, Dalton Kincaid. The stack needs to work. This week, week 3 in Jacksonville, stack has to work. Darnell Mooney, great play. I mean, oh my God, he should be on my team. I missed him by falling asleep. Rookie mistake. You don't fall asleep during waivers, during fantasy season. You set that alarm for 3 o'clock. You get up, you make yourself a cup of coffee, you feed a baby. You do what you got to do to stay awake, because you miss a player like Darnell Mooney. He was floating around. You hold on. I said you hold on to your Atlanta. I didn't have him. I haven't even picked him up one time. I just wanted him. Oh, man, good pickup, good play here. I don't think it's better than Jameis Williams. The Chargers defense and Chris Boswell, the kicker, and because I literally am embarrassed to the point that I have to look up, how do I not know this dude's name? My God. I'm looking it up. Reynolds. Josh Reynolds. Okay. Another Josh. And he's questionable now. Just to let you know. I guess. I did not know that, but it doesn't say, but it does here. I looked it up. So maybe looking in, you need to check that. One, I'm not starting. I don't want to start Javonte Williams, and I'm wearing a Broncos jersey, and I'm saying that because our team is garbage except for the defense. The defense is great, but the offense is absolute hard garbage. And Josh Reynolds apparently is questionable just based off what I looked up. And then he's an offensive player, and Bo Nix is not doing a good job. So think about that. Let's pick a team. Evan, the injuries. Sorry, Jordan. The injuries are going to come and save you, the fantasy gods, even though you're dealing with a little bit of injury yourself. Now, you lose, again, Justin Jefferson, Josh Jacobs don't make this game. Things change. But if we're going with what's on the screen, give me, dare I say it, forever unclean Evan Coles to beat Mr. McGiblets here in week 3. Game 4 will feature longtime veteran Derek Ash taking on co-commissioner Aaron Grog, and the injuries do continue in this game. Amon St. Brown banged up. Now, I expect him to play. He's just questionable, but I do expect him to be in this game. You don't even need Josh Ferguson or Jake Ferguson. I just looked up Josh Reynolds. Jake Ferguson, you don't need him, and you use a waiver pick on him. Why? Why, Derek? You're not even starting him. You've got Kyle Pitts. It makes no sense. But he's banged up. He's on your team, so we talk about it. Odunze also banged up. Unfortunately, probably not going to play. Not that you want to start him because Caleb Williams is hot garbage. I told you. All you people, I know. First of all, people like Aaron Grog, who I sit and have a conversation with, and they're like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Caleb Williams is going to be amazing. Ha ha. Told you. And then for the rest of you who were like, I don't, necessarily have a full-blown conversation with, and you hear and you listen to me and you're like, oh, Joe, that fat ginger jackass, he doesn't know what he's talking about. You know what? Guess what? Sit on it, because he's horrible. And you wouldn't want to start him even if he was healthy, personally. So a little bit of injury dealing with here. Aaron Grog, Rashad White, questionable, is projected with points, is projected to play. Chance that he might not, though. So keep that in mind. I know you're watching it. This game is within 19 points, so it's not particularly close. The trade with Josh really boosting Aaron's score this week. We're going to start, though, with Derek. So, Derek, let's start with Anthony Richardson, and he gets Chicago. Wasn't pretty last week. We talk about these wonky offenses. Indianapolis, definitely one of them. Can't throw 3 interceptions this week and expect to win. That's for sure. Derrick Henry and Brian Robinson, running backs 1 and 2. Dallas and Cincinnati, taper expectation. This is definitely showing in your projection a little bit, but you're still in the 111. Talk about consistency, guys. If you want to talk about consistency, scores 111 last week and is going to score, is projected 111. Dude, I'm telling you, the definition of consistency is Derek. Amon St. Brown, Malik Neighbors. I love the matchups. I have no problems with the Cleveland here. The Giants are going to be throwing the ball. Amon St. Brown, Arizona, I think it's going to be a shootout. Love it. Kyle Pitts comes in as the tight end. We just talked about it. Don't even need. You pick up Ferguson. Don't even need him. And then, oh God, what was his name? Blake Irving, right? Brian Irving. Why do I do this to myself? But clearly you're going with the fact that Rashad White is not going to play. Bucky Irving. God, duh. He's got an animal for a first name. My God. Okay, right. Bucky. I knew that. So Bucky Irving, maybe you're just going, that's what you got. I get it. Dealing with a little bit of the injury here. So, betting that Rachaad White's not going to play, and then you're really in for it for a great flex play. Maybe just trying to absorb what Tampa Bay's doing. We'll see. Indianapolis, the defense, and Greg Zuerlein, the kicker. Like I said, it's not close. It's not going to look pretty. But if there's anybody who I believe could upset this projection, I do think it's you, Derek. Co-commissioner Aaron Grog, I know, is sitting all nice and comfy with his new trade and thinks that Alvin Kamara is just going to be fantastic. And, dude, as long as Kendre Miller's still out, yeah, I think that could be the case. But when he comes back, he's going to eat into Alvin Kamara. I'm not going to buy into New Orleans all of a sudden. All right? Give me one more week for the love of Pete. Okay, before we just start, coming out here and saying that one of the worst projected teams for the year is going to be, a playoff contending team, essentially, potentially. They certainly look that way. So is Alvin Kamara in for? I mean, they're giving him a 20-point projection. I know I'm getting a little ahead here, but they're giving him a 20-point projection against Philadelphia. Good Lord, I don't buy into that. I definitely want to see that to believe it. Let's bounce up to Joe Burrow. He gets Washington. Yeah, I mean, Washington's a horrible. They're horrible. The only thing you want fantasy wise is the Jaden Daniels, Scary Terry, maybe Austin Eckler, right? We talked about Rachaad White. Is he going to play? Will it be Bucky Irving? All right. Garrett Wilson, who has not looked good, gets New England, and I think New England can play better defense than people give him credit for. They did get torched by Seattle. You saw what DK Metcalf and JSN did last week. So does Aaron Jones, do we get to see anything better here from Aaron Rodgers and Chris or George Wilson? Man, I all the names. I'm just looking at too many names. I just got a plethora of football shit all over here. Get it right. Get it right, Commissioner. My God, that's what these people pay for. You don't pay for anything. It's free, okay? This is what poor production value and free YouTube videos get you, okay? Chris Godwin, I have no reason that he would. I mean, Patrick Surtain, so maybe you're tapering expectation there. Denver does have a good defense, and so maybe maybe this does free up Cade Otton for old Josh Johnson in this one, huh? But yeah, I mean, love Chris Godwin, love the start here. Sam Laporta, that needs to pay off. We'll find out, man. This should be a good litmus test for that. Nico Collins, monster game last week. Tough defense, Minnesota. So I will say, you've got tough defenses here, Derek, in these matchups for Aaron. So Denver, Philadelphia, New England, another Denver, Arizona, or excuse me, not so much Arizona, Minnesota. There you go. I mean, maybe this helps you out a little bit. I surely don't believe in the 20-point projection for Alvin Kamara. I really want to see that. Cleveland's defense, now that's going to be, unfortunately, a great play, especially against the Giants. And Young Hoku, the kicker, heavily in its favor. And unfortunately, Derek, not going to spend a lot of time on this pick. You're just, it just seems like with the trade, is it really that much of an offset? But then, if we have a day here where Sam Laporta does what he's supposed to do, the flex is really the difference. Huge difference in flex play. Now, maybe this offsets if Aaron has to fill this running back, his running back one. I mean, you could argue running back two if Alvin Kamara is the guy now. So that would really, really hurt. If Rachaad White is going to play, I definitely am going to take out Bucky Irving, and I'm going to find someone else that a wide receiver I can stash in this flex that gives me the potential for a big boom day. That's what I'm going to play that like a daily fantasy flex play. So I do and am going to pick Aaron Grog here in week 3 to get the win over Derek Ash. 3 games left to go, and in this one, we have our 2 owners from Weatherford, Oklahoma. Sophomore Jack Little Raven taking on sophomore Chandler Taylor, and more injuries. It just continues. Jack Little Raven, no Evan Ingram, last minute replacement. You nail it with the Hunter Henry play. Who knew? No Jordan Love, no problem. I'd rather be playing Kirk Cousins anyway. He did just fine for you last week. We already knew no Jordan Addison. I don't know if you really would. I definitely am playing him over. Okay. You're playing him over Austin Eckler. You're playing him over two tight ends, and I'm glad to see we don't have two tight ends this week. Good job, Chandler. This game is super close. It's 116 to 121. It's literally 5 points. It could go either way. So let's start with you, Mr. Little Raven. Kirk Cousins gets Kansas City. Did just fine against Philly, and I'm not nearly as afraid of Kansas City's defense. They have a good defense, but I'm not afraid of them like I am of Philadelphia. Travis Etienne and Zamir White, running backs 1 and 2, and maybe that's just who you have, but I'm just not starting Zamir White. I don't believe in this 13-point projection. I don't know where that's coming from. I don't know how you can have any faith, and I get deep league. It's the fantasy league of ordinary gentlemen. You're looking for a pulse most of the time with your flex or your RB2, depending on how you draft it, and maybe that's just what you have to go with. But Carolina, that's what it is. I'll give you that. Okay, Jack, I pause. I didn't see. You get Carolina, you play them this week, and then you never play them again, okay? And then you can't let it go to your head, okay? If Zamir White has a great day, it's Carolina, man. It is. You keep that in mind. You just don't get your hopes up when he has a 20-point game against the worst team in the league, all right? Watch him not. Watch him not, just saying. Jamar Chase, DK Metcalf, wide receivers 1 and 2. You need him to have big games here. Jamar Chase, especially no T. Higgins. It doesn't look like he's going to play against Washington. Easy 20-point day, right? Can Hunter Henry against the Jets? I doubt it, but can Hunter Henry have another 16-point day? It sure would be nice, and especially given the projection on your opponent. Rashid Shaheed takes one play, go to the house, and he's got 15 points. I think this week, we need this to happen. Seattle's defense, McPherson, the kicker, it's 116. It's a nice projection. Nice projection here, but still projected to lose. And why? I think it's the matchups, which I actually feel are a little better in your favor, especially if this, Zamir White against Carolina play works out, because I don't have any. I think I might have less faith in Chandler's RB2 than I do yours. It's real close. It's real close. Brock Purdy, who has not been fantastic, it's been rough. They get the Rams, so I think this is going to be a nice day. Bijan Robinson and DeAndre Swift, running backs 1 and 2. You see that Bijan in Kansas City, I think that you saw what he was able to do against Philadelphia, so you're not complaining here. I have no faith in DeAndre Swift. Find somebody else. Dude, bring up Austin Eckler, flex a wide receiver. Bring up Jordan Addison. I'm not starting DeAndre Swift here. If I have to, but I still think I'd rather take Eckler in Cincinnati. Chris Olave and Zay Flowers, wide receivers 1 and 2. Philadelphia and Dallas, taper expectation, man. But, these could turn into blowouts or shootouts, not blowouts, So I think maybe that's what they're thinking here. And especially with Baltimore and Philadelphia coming off tough losses, maybe that puts these teams behind and they're playing the shootout game. Dallas Goedert will be your tight end play here against New Orleans. Again, I like the matchup. I still think I'm bringing Austin Eckler up from my flex. I think I'd rather have him as my RB2, and I'd rather play Jordan Addison as my flex. I just again, Chicago, bad, and Indianapolis has a decent defense. Pittsburgh, the defense, and Butker, the kicker, you are projected to win this game. It's 121 to 116. It could go either way. You are higher on the power rankings by five slots. I will say, Chandler, this is close. This is really, really close. Tough defenses on both sides. Oh man, but if I'm going with like key positions, I don't like the RB2 play from either, but I really don't like the flex play. I think Rashid Shaheed could go deep here. Oh man, it's so hard, but I do believe I am going to go against the power ranking and go with Mr. Jack Little Raven to get a win here in week 3. But again, could go either way. Prove me wrong, Chandler. And don't let me, the one thing, real quick, don't ever let me dictate how you set up your lineup. If you like DeAndre Swift, if the stats for the build of your team tell you to start him, likewise, Jack, if it says, look, if all you have is Zamir White again, you got the matchup, I did retract my statement there. You got to play who you got to play. You got to play how you feel you get the win. And look at me, you guys are on the board. I don't got any wins. I'm 0-2 over here. So what do I know? Still, give me Jack Little Raven here in week 3. Prove me wrong, Chandler. Game 2 will feature Brauc, Hutchins, and a very injured team. Probably the team with the most injuries currently in the Fantasy League of Ordinary Johnson, taking on yours truly, your commissioner, Joe Johnson, and Brauc. The projection very close, within 2 points, less than 2 points, 1.7 points. I just said that you have all these injuries. Let's break them down. Keenan Allen banged up. Now, projected to play. Keep in mind, I don't think you want to start him. Hasn't looked good, but again, you start who you got to start, and given your injuries, this is, I feel that might be the case. He is banged up. He might not start himself, but is at least projected to play. Justin Herbert is going to sit on your bench, bringing up Sam Darnold, who's looked good. Interesting waiver pickup. But then Tua Tagovailoa. Also, do you have 3 quarterbacks on your team? Did I read that right? Maybe because we have a limit for 2, and so I guess because Tua's on your IR, it doesn't count against you. Yeah, I guess so. And so you are able to walk away with 3. Didn't know that. I thought that no matter what, it counted against you, but I guess IR is like not actually on the team. So not a big deal. It doesn't actually bother me that much. But I was just like, how in the world does he have 3 quarterbacks? Now I know. So yes, unfortunately no Tua, which also brings up no Raheem Mostert. So the Dolphins 2.0, all those Dolphins suddenly halved. And now you're half of the Dolphins 2.0. Dolphins 1.5. Which you would think makes it sound like you're better, because 1.5 indicates like better than 2 somehow, but not in this case. In this case, you're half of that, which sucks, which I guess would then be 1. No, it's just bad. It's just bad. It's not good. Bad all around. So you just hope that Devon A-Chain feeds off the fact that there's no Raheem Mostert. I mean, damn near 30 points last week. No Josh Palmer. So altogether, it looks like 5 players in this game, and yet somehow you have a 2-point projection. I don't know if that speaks more about my team than it does your team, but it is close either way. Let's start here. With getting back on track. We talked about it, Sam Darnold, Devon A-Chain, Jalen Warren, running backs 1 and 2. So Devon A-Chain does get Seattle. They are playing good. I like Jalen Warren a little more against the Chargers, but the Chargers have been playing surprisingly good defense. And, you saw that they were able to get 11 points for Jordan last week, so not a bad day. Mike Evans, tapering expectation with Denver here. I imagine Patrick Surtain will be more focused on Mike Evans, so that opens up Chris Godwin here. But altogether, we have a great secondary, good run stop. I mean, we're one of the. I think we're the number. If you believe, I think we're the number 7 defense, number 8, number 7, number 8 defense in the league right now after 2 weeks. Again, no faith in Keenan Allen. Love Trey McBride in the game with Detroit. Yeah, give me all you can get. And then Tyreek Hill. We're going to see what it looks like with Skylar Thompson at the helm. Believe it or not, the stats without Tua haven't really been that difference. It's been like a field goal difference in production when it comes to overall scoring. So I don't think a lot really changes here for Tyreek Hill or Waddle. And then with no Mostert, A-Chain's getting all the running work. And Skylar Thompson isn't going to, I think, use his legs like Tua. I think that he'll be a manageable, fantasy-friendly quarterback. Tampa Bay, the defense against our horrible offense, great play. And then Bates, the kicker, it's 116. But you already know, Brauc, you're playing Final Boss. And I need a win. Enough with this 0-2 loss nonsense. We're going to get a win, and we're going to start with you, Mr. Hudgens. Dak Prescott gets Baltimore. I think this game's going to be a shootout. Both these teams, bad losses. They need a win. It's going to be a fight. Oh, man, please, shootout. That's what I need. Oh, man, I'm really worried about the interceptions here with Dak Prescott. But knock on wood, big game here. Jonathan Taylor and Javonte Williams, running backs 1 and 2. Taylor against Chicago should have a just fine day. But then Tampa Bay and Javonte Williams, I have definitely tapered my expectation. Tampa Bay looks good, and our offense is dog shit. Jalen Waddle, we just talked about it, Tyreek Hill. So this could be huge. Whose volume in this game? Will it just be the Tyreek Hill show? Will Seattle's defense smother Tyreek Hill enough that this opens up Waddle? So could be the difference for the two of our teams here in this one. Devonta Smith, wide receiver 2, and with no A.J. Brown, I expect that workload to be right where it was like it was last week. Pat Freiermuth, my tight end here, gets the Chargers like that. And then Marvin Harrison getting Detroit. I've already said this Detroit-Arizona game should be lots of fun. And I'll look forward to another, hopefully, 4 touchdowns. Come on, Marvin Harrison Jr., Rookie of the Year. My rookies never let me down. They always carry me into the playoffs. Come on, MHJ. We got it, baby. Las Vegas, going to bring in the Las Vegas against Carolina. I want that matchup. I'm going to need it. I need the win. So I'm bringing in the defense against the worst team in the league. Moody, the kicker. Give me 20 points, baby. All right. And Brauc, how can a man whose name is spelled wrong hope to win in fantasy? It's that simple. Okay? It's like French. And, Brauc. And then the French don't play football, they play football. That's the wrong sport, okay? Now, I want to congratulate you. I don't see Lionel Messi. I don't see, Olivier Giroud on here. So good job. You're playing the right game, okay? Your name does not indicate the sport in which you are drafting. Good on you. But, 0-2. One of us is walking away with a win here, and it's not going to be you. 0-3. You know it's coming. Get the fuck off my lawn, and let's go check out Game of the Week.
I'm ready. Oh, yeah. Wubba lubba dub dub.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
And our game of the week, which is projected to be the highest scoring game of all of the other games between the two owners. If we were talking about an over-under, this game projected well over 250 total points. We have sophomore Brennan Scala taking on rookie Jonathan Andrews. Both these teams, just like me and Brauc, are 0-2, going to walk away with a win. Well, both these teams 2-0. I have lost to both of these teams, so somebody's going to walk away 3-0. Somebody's going to walk away 2-1 in this game. And again, point total super high, 124 and 132. Both of these players in the top 3 for week 3 power rankings. So let's go in. Brennan Scala, Jonathan Andrews, let's check it out. And we'll start with you, Brennan. Lamar Jackson getting Dallas. You've heard me talk about this game all this episode. Big game. It's going to be a high-scoring game. I think you're going to enjoy everything coming out of the players that we all have bought into these games. But, I mean, let's be honest. Baltimore has a good defense. Dallas has a good defense. This could be a low-scoring game. This could be a defensive battle. This could be bad for fantasy players all around. I mean, that's the realization here, okay, when we look at this game. I can't say that you would be disappointed if James Cook didn't have another 3 touchdowns. I don't think that's going to happen. I think that was maybe his best game of the year. But certainly against Jacksonville, possible. Ramondre Stevens gets the Jets. They have a good defense, taper expectation. CeeDee Lamb and Drake London, wide receivers 1 and 2. Now, Drake London saved you in the sense of points because it was bad. It wasn't even double digits until he caught that touchdown. And so against Kansas City, they do have a good defense. And then CeeDee Lamb again, are they going to stifle Dak Prescott in this game? The projections are high. And I'm telling you, I think everyone sees what I'm seeing here, which is a big-time shootout game coming. Parkinson running with that waiver pickup from last week in San Francisco. And again, no Puka, no Cooper Kupp. Yeah, why not? The volume's got to go somewhere, and their line's banged up. I think last week was just kind of a dull day. I think that Parkinson could, for the foreseeable future, fall inside the top 10. He's a good play. Zach Moss needs to continue getting all the volume there in Cincinnati, but I'm still not out on Chase Brown taking over this role. San Francisco, the defense, and Brandon Aubrey, the keeper. Tell you what, you need another 17-point game plus from Brandon Aubrey this week, and I dare say it could freaking happen. Right to you, Jonathan Andrews. It's been easy street. You're projected another super high point total. I think it's just I think it's the same thing as Forrest, and just the opposite. He's so bad. You seem to be so good. I until I see otherwise, I just can't imagine it not being. How do I say you're not going to score another 150 points? You're already projected 130. Kyler Murray in Detroit, again, another shootout game that I think is coming. Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker comes back into your lineup. Now, he is questionable. Still a chance he doesn't play. That will drastically change the outcome of this game if he doesn't. But yeah, the matchup's not horrible. Maybe you're tapering expectation. We know Miami does have a good defense. Devontae Adams, Rashee Rice, wide receivers 1 and 2. Love the matchups. Carolina, Atlanta, love it. You saw what Philadelphia was able to do. Devonta Smith, you see what Rashee Rice, what Carolina has not been able to do. You get Brock Bowers in this matchup, who's already been dominant. Now he gets to play against the worst team in the league. It should be great. James Conner. Yeah, you've got the right matchups for the right reasons here. The Jets defense, man, yeah, there's a reason you're projected 132. McLaughlin, the kicker, and this game it's going to be high scoring, well into I think the high 120s. We could hit 140s. Both of these players' high power rankings will show you here in a minute. But Brennan, you're having one hell of a year, but you do have the tougher defenses. If we're just going to break it down, it is what it is. You definitely have the tougher defenses. He's got you beat when it comes to the flex play. He's got you beat when it comes to tight end play. You have the better wide receivers. No question about it, but Devonta Adams has been playing lights out and better against Carolina. It's not good, man. It's just a really good matchup for him, not good for you. Rashee Rice is playing better than Drake London in the sense of productivity. His running backs are better. You're outclassed bad in this game, and I am going to go with our number one power ranked team in week 3. Give me rookie Jonathan Andrews to open up the season 3-0. And like I said, we talked about those power rankings, so let's throw them up there. And like I said, there we can see Mr. Andrews, the number one team, followed by Aaron Grogg, Brennan Scala, Chandler Taylor, Evan Coles, and Austin Allen. Now, again, this is just week 3, so there are your top 6 power teams. Sitting right there in the middle, myself, Derek Ash, Jack Little Raven, Brauc Hudgens. So right there in the chunk of the middle, those games, just, again, find your opponent. Where do you match up? This gives you an idea. It's not a guarantee. It just gives you a kind of idea of how the week is going to go. And then there at the bottom, Josh Johnson. Forrest, you're not the last. I told you this week there's a chance. There is a chance you could actually walk away with a win. Now you're playing the number 6 ranked power ranked team this week, so I don't think so. But you're not dead last. And that will go to Aaron Felch and, of all people, Jordan Payne sitting there at the bottom. But no A.J. Brown, no Cooper Kupp, no Isaiah Pacheco. That's tough. That's absolutely just devastating to a fantasy team. That takes care of all of our matchups here in week 3. Thanks for sitting by and going over everything with me. It's been a blast. And I absolutely look forward to all of our matchups. The game of the week should absolutely just be fantastic. As always, like and subscribe. Get us out there. Don't have too much fun without me. And Brauc, get the fuck off my lawn. Take care. Peace out.